I'm off to get an ice cream. Hello and welcome to S&J TV1, and that's kind of interesting. Today I'm visiting the Westbury White Horse in the English county of Wiltshire. It's located about 1.5 miles east of Westbury and is the second oldest hill figure in the country, with its origins dating back several hundred years. I'll go into more detail shortly, but first let's have a look at the horse and the surrounding area. This prominent scheduled monument and symbol of Wiltshire was cut into the side of Westbury Hill in 1778, destroying an original horse that had been there since around the late 1600s. It's the oldest out of the 8 horse hill figures in Wiltshire, and out of the 8 is unique for being the only one that's standing still. It's 52 metres wide and 55 metres high, and in common with most horsey hill figures is facing to the left. The horse is in profile and is in a standing position. All 4 legs are visible and are complete with hooves. At the rear of the horse is a long flowing tail which hangs down some 22.5 metres. The head measures a little over 15 metres in length and features one pointy ear, a nose, a mouth and a disproportionately large black triangle eye, some 2.5 metres across by almost 2 metres high. The horse is maintained by English Heritage and is located in an area designated as a site of special scientific interest. As mentioned at the top of the video, how we see the horse today isn't how it's always looked. There was, in fact, a horse already here, which was destroyed when this one was built. The original horse looks something like this, and dated back to at least the late 1600s and possibly earlier than that. This sketch is one of 2 images of the original horse known to exist, and we'll take a look at the other one shortly. Out of the 2, this is perhaps the most detailed, and was drawn in 1772 and appears in the 1806 book Camden's Britannia. The image in the book was facing to the right, which is thought to have been a printing error, so let's flip it around so it's facing to the left. The horse is a little comical to look at and was probably drawn from the top of the horse looking down, which explains its odd proportions. Even the modern horse looks a little bit odd when viewed from the top. From the drawing we can see what appears to be some sort of saddle on the horse's back, possibly made of cloth. Unlike the modern horse, this one had 2 ears, but shares a similarity of having one big misplaced eye. The tail on this horse is curving upwards and is tipped with a crescent-shaped fish-like appendage. The original horse was smaller, measuring a little over 30 metres in height and width. The other image we have of the horse appeared on a map in 1773 and is the first known published image of the horse. Although small and void of fine detail, there are things we can learn from it. For starters, it's facing to the left, adding weight to the argument that the other image was printed facing the wrong way. In common with the sketch, the horse has 2 ears and 4 legs, although these appear to be complete with hooves. Unlike the sketch, the horse appears to be in motion, with one of its front legs raised and the rear legs drawn as though it was walking. The most obvious feature missing from this horse is a saddle. It's hard to believe that only 2 basic images of the original horse exist. Perhaps somewhere out there there's a painting or drawing waiting to be discovered that will shed more light on what the horse actually looked like. Details of the original horse's demise was written about in the 1885 book The White Horses of the West of England, where the author writes, "Recutting of the new horse was perpetrated in 1778 by a wretch by the name of G, who new modelled it, and in doing so changed the whole character. The newly cut horse is the origin of the horse that we see today, and an early image of the restyled horse can be seen in the 1812 book Ancient History of South Wiltshire. In 1873, getting on for almost 100 years after the horse was recut, some major restoration works were needed, as the horse was now in a very poor condition and losing its shape due to neglect and weathering. Funding for improvements were obtained, and under the direction of a locally appointed committee, the horse was recut and edging stones added to reduce erosion, and is more or less the shape of the horse as we see it today.
During World War II, the horse was covered up to stop German pilots using it as an easy-to-spot landmark. And in 1957, the somewhat extreme decision was taken to preserve the horse by covering it with concrete. As a distinctive landmark, it's an irresistible target for protesters and pranksters, and in 2018, some cheeky England fans turned the horse into a giant St George flag in anticipation of a World Cup semi-final match between England and Croatia, a match England will go on to lose 2-1. The horse regularly gets spruced up, and to aid this, there are abseiling anchor points dotted along the top of the horse, which are used during maintenance and inspections.
There are other things to see here apart from the horse, the most obvious being the remains of an Iron Age hill fort called Bratton Camp.
All that remains today are raised defensive earthworks called ramparts that surround the camp. These measure some 30 metres across and 6 metres deep. The area inside the embankment covers 23 acres and is where people would have lived and worked. In the grounds of the fort, there's a 73-metre-long Neolithic burial monument called a long barrow. When the site was excavated in the 1800s, pottery and human remains were found. Nearby, there's a much smaller Bronze Age barrow, which is around 16 metres in diameter and around 1 metre high. I completely failed to get proper footage of it the 3 times I was filming here, but luckily it did appear in the background of other things I was filming. Some think the original horse was cut to commemorate the Battle of Ethandun that took place close by in 878 AD. These days, the battle is commemorated by this large stone and plaque that act as an official monument to Alfred the Great winning the Seven-Day Battle, in which his Anglo-Saxon army defeated the heathen army led by Guthrum, the Danish-born king of East Anglia. The stone was officially unveiled on the 5th of November 2000. This fire beacon was one of over 4,200 beacons lit across the UK and Commonwealth to celebrate the Queen's Golden Jubilee on the 4th of June 2012. It was lit again for the Queen's Platinum Jubilee on the 2nd of June 2022.
There are some fantastic views up here, and even on rainy days you can see for miles. And with the help of this convenient toposcope, you'll be able to locate places of interest that you can see from up here. To get the most out of the views, it's worth trying to remember to bring a pair of binoculars with you.
With views in excess of 20 miles from up here, you can see many towns and villages, including Westbury, which is about 1.5 miles away, and Trowbridge, which is around 5 miles away. If you have a keen eye, you'll be able to see the Devizes White Horse, which is 11 miles away, and the Alton Barnes White Horse, which is 15 miles away. Even though it's 21 miles away, the Mendip transmitter is amazingly the easiest out of the 3 to see with the naked eye. The horses are best seen with binoculars.
The Westbury White Horse and Iron Age Fort are open all year round and are free to visit. There's a road to the top of the hill where you'll find a large free car park that's only a few minutes walk away from the horse and the views. And it's where an ice cream van is sometimes situated. If you want to see the horse in passing, there's a small car park with a viewing point on the B3098. And that about wraps this video up on the Westbury White Horse. If you have any views on today's video, please leave a message in the comments section. And if you like this sort of content, why not stop by and take a closer look at our channel, and maybe consider subscribing and ringing that bell to be notified when we release new videos. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. I'm off to buy an ice cream.